Hey everybody, welcome back to Lee TV. Thanks for joining today, and I hope you're enjoying this beautiful Sunday afternoon. You know, I've already got a comment. Video hasn't started, but somebody said Dr. Hoffa was given a gag order to not say anything bad about the vaxxes, so I'm guessing similar situation in Saskatoon with this. Yeah, we're going to find out very shortly, because I've written an article about someone who died in Saskatoon, unfortunately, 3 days after getting the second Pfizer shot. And his widow, Catherine Van Dam, and also his former sister-in-law, Karen Lilly, were very brave to tell me what happened to them. So I'm going to read the article to you. And this has just been posted in the Western Standard. Catherine Van Dam is still in mourning. 1 month ago, the Saskatoon widow lost her husband 3 days after he received his second Pfizer shot for COVID-19. Leo Van Dam died on June 12th at the age of 64 after what his doctor deemed to be a cardiac event. His widow, Catherine, says although her husband had a significant heart attack in 2015, she believes his vaccine contributed to his death. Every single person I talk to, I tell them I believe that this is from the second vaccination. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's what's happened, Catherine Van Dam told the Western Standard. Early on in March, our doctor phoned and said to Leo, "You have comorbidity because of your heart. You have to be very careful." So we were just very diligent and so fearful of contracting COVID. We went to great lengths to make sure that we weren't mixing with anyone. And he said that to me too. If I get COVID, Catherine, it's unlikely that I will survive. Catherine's mother declined thalidomide while carrying her, a decision that might have saved her from birth defects. That experience is one reason Catherine and her mother have declined the new COVID-19 vaccines. Catherine was also concerned by reports of adverse reactions. He said to me, "How many millions of people have to get vaccinated before you think it's safe?" And I said, "Leo, it's not just the amount of people. It's the amount of people and then time. We don't know what the long-term effects of this experimental emergency usage inoculation is." Her husband had his first jab April 5th and experienced pain not long after. He said, I just had this shooting pain. It started from my lower back towards the side. If I hadn't been standing right in front of the pedestal sink and had that to hang on to it, I would have dropped on the floor." Accounts of others' adverse reactions made Catherine more concerned, given her husband's medical history. But Leo was more skeptical of alternate opinions than the vaccinations. They complained about muscle aches and all this pain, and I thought, the heart is a muscle. If other people that are healthy are having these severe muscle aches, how is your heart going to manage with this vaccination? Catherine recalls. I would show him alternate things that I was reading. It was always, well, and what's the source? Where did you find that? Well, that's just an op-ed. You can't just read that. That's just somebody's opinion. Okay, fine. So I stopped showing these things that I was reading. And I was like, I know that mainstream media is lying to us. Some of these far-fetched conspiracy theories, I don't believe those either. And I thought the truth is somewhere in the middle of all this, but I don't know what the truth is. 2 weeks before Leo's second shot, Catherine tried to convince him not to take it. He was adamant this was our only way out to get the economy going again, for us to be able to travel, and he followed mainstream media and fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Catherine had heard reports of adverse reactions spreading to those near the recently vaccinated. So when Leo had his first shot, Catherine slept in the basement and kept her distance from him. After his second shot, she had foreboding and responded differently. What I said to him is, honey, I can't stay away from you anyway, so I'm not going to sleep in the basement. So I didn't want to alarm him, but in my heart I thought, I think he'll need me, so I won't go and protect myself downstairs. If something should happen, I wouldn't forgive myself for having done that. Leo received his inoculation June 9th at 12:23 p.m. Catherine recalls when he came home. Oh, he was so thrilled. He had a box of all kinds of cleaners that one of the First Nations had put together. And I said, well, who's paying for that? Every single person that got vaccinated gets 6 bottles of some stupid cleaner. Other people get scholarships. There's lotteries that are entered. I mean, who is paying that dime? And whenever have we had a vaccination where you actually can enter a lottery and win something for it? If that doesn't tell you that it's corrupt. Catherine said her husband seemed fine the Wednesday he was vaccinated, but slept an awful lot both Thursday and Friday. He woke up as usual on Saturday, made coffee, and stretched out on the basement couch to return messages and have a nap. She found it strange he had not reawakened after a few hours. I did exactly what I've done other times, just watch his chest. Is he breathing? This time I couldn't see it moving. So then I started with his feet, and his feet were already cold. I tried to wake him and I couldn't, and so I immediately phoned 911. Based on text messages on her husband's phone, she knew he had received the second jab June 9th at 12:23 a.m., sent his last text at 8:37 a.m. on June 12th, and did not respond to a subsequent text at 10:56 a.m. She found Leo shortly before 12:40 p.m. Catherine said she had both told the police and the coroner that Leo had died from the shot, and her claim was recorded in their reports. When I spoke to the coroner, I asked for an autopsy to be done, if in fact they could determine that it was the vaccination. And they said it would be impossible to be able to tell. And so I said that if that's true, then there is no point in an autopsy. The coroner's report then went to our doctor. She said, I'm going to talk to the smartest person that I know. I don't know who the infectious disease specialist is, but he said to her that, again, it would be impossible to determine if it had been the vaccination. And he hasn't heard of any deaths. So when she said that they hadn't heard of any deaths, then I thought there is no point in that avenue. They're all lying. By May 18th, the European Union's records already showed 10,570 deaths from the COVID-19 vaccines. By June 7th, 5 days before Van Damme's passing, the US government's vaccine adverse event reporting system reported 5,888 deaths from the vaccines. On July the 8th, Saskatchewan Health Minister Paul Merriman appeared on the John Gormley radio show and said, of all the people that were vaccinated in June and prior to that, there was no serious outcomes. Catherine begs to differ. How can you say that there haven't been any? It's all a lie, she sobbed. We've been lied to with mainstream media. Leo's cause of death was listed as a cardiac event with no mention of the inoculation. It was the same for his obituary. Catherine's sister, Karen Lilly, removed a reference to the jab after family friends in the healthcare profession saw a first draft. I started out by saying Leo died suddenly but peacefully in his sleep after a second Pfizer injection, and they both reared up and said, you can't say that, Lilly told the Western Standard. They didn't say why I couldn't say it, but it just gives the wrong impression. Yeah, I guess it would deter people from having the vaccination. Despite Catherine's convictions regarding her husband's death, some people still urge her to get the jab. I do have a couple of friends that are very pro-vaccination, and they have said, we don't want to lose you too. You have to get vaccinated so that you won't die of COVID. When someone else tells me I should be vaccinated, I'm going to tell them, yes, I'm strongly considering getting vaccinated as well, because I want to join Leo in heaven, and that's the only reason I'd get vaccinated. In the week leading up to July the 7th, VAERS reported 2,043 more deaths from COVID-19 vaccines, with deaths of people with COVID-19 while deaths of people with COVID-19 rose only 1,505. Catherine is working hard as she prepares to take over the volleyball camp slated for August that was run by her late husband. She took the time for a Western Standard interview because she wanted her husband's story told. The message to get vaccinated is so loud and clear, it's just nauseating, she said. The pressure to get this is so great. It's all we hear on mainstream media. The option to wait is not heard at all. So there it is. That is really grave, and I think that that has been happening in a lot of people in a lot of places, and we just haven't been hearing about it. I've got one person that I've been waiting to tell her story, and I've done the interview and everything, but for various reasons, she's just not wanting to give the go-ahead yet. So I've been waiting for that for about 4 weeks. And there are others, and I hope that they will come forward and speak with me. So if you are a Canadian and you've had someone close to you die of the jab, then let me know. Or if you think that it was, I mean, these doctors aren't willing to make the official connection. But if you put 2 and 2 together and say, look, it was 3 days, it was 5 days, it was whatever, and they died right after, there it is. All right, Comrade Gormley, fake conservative, Doug Gibson says. And thanks for the article. Thank you, Doug. Want to say hi to Elle Etsy as well. and that the censorship prevents people from seeing opposing viewpoints. TV ads continually promote safe and effective. They recently removed the effective wording. Wow. Well, safe will be next to go. United States government working with Facebook to censor even harder. Yeah, and it's not like we don't have a government here in Canada that doesn't like censorship either. So I want to thank you for watching today. I don't want to make this much longer than this. Think twice before taking your first or second of these jabs, because the clinical trials don't end until 2023. Take care, everybody.